Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this, the 29th iteration of the Konoha Companion. And on this episode, we're going to be covering episode 28 of Naruto. And up to this point, I've been saying season 1, episode whatever, but as it turns out, there isn't actually like a coherent set of seasons across all the platforms, right? Like Hulu will say one thing, Wikipedia will say another thing, Netflix will say another thing, and so I'm over it, right? I'm just gonna go episode by episode, not worried about the seasons, right? We're just on flat out episode 28 of Naruto, and it's entitled Eat or Be Eaten, Panic in the Forest. And before I dive too far off into that episode, I want to talk about what happened kind of briefly on the previous episode. And so on the previous episode, Anko, the proctor of the second phase of the tuning exam, that continues to orient the Genin on the second phase of the tuning exams. Naruto mocks her in front of everybody, and Anko scares the heck out of him by throwing a kunai that grazes his face. A grass Genin gives Anko her kunai back, but does so with her tongue, and while also like invading Anko's personal space, and is just like generally super weird about the entire thing. Anko makes everybody sign a waiver because everyone might not come back, and she ain't trying to have that liability. She explains that the basis of the exam is each team gets either a heaven or an earth scroll, and they start from a unique entry gate, and in order to pass, your entire team has to get to the tower in the center of the Forest of Death with one of both scrolls within 5 days. It's basically a test to determine each team's survivability and integrity. The ways to get disqualified are if all 3 members of a team can't make it to the tower with both scrolls after 5 days, if a team loses a member, or if a member becomes incapacitated and cannot continue. You can also get disqualified by looking at the contents of the scrolls before reaching the tower. Team 7 gets a heaven scroll. Squad 8 gets sent to gate 16. Squad 10 gets sent to gate 27. Squad 7 gets sent to gate 12. Team Sound gets sent to gate 20. Kabuto and his squad get sent to gate 38. Team Sand gets gate 6. Team Grass gets gate 15, and Team Guy gets gate 41. The exam begins, and the teams go rushing into the Forest of Death. Team 10 gets into an interaction, but they hide in the bushes until it passes. Team 8 gets into an altercation where they trap a team of hidden rain Genin with giant leeches and a net that's triggered by a tripwire. And they basically set this all up by using themselves as bait. And shout out Kiba for being the trapper here. Team 7 gets into an altercation with some rain ninja when Naruto goes pee and he gets replaced by a hidden rain ninja using a transformation jutsu that luckily Sasuke is able to see through. Sasuke and the foe Naruto fight until he explains to the fake and to Sakura how he knows that the fake is a faker, and at that point the faker finally breaks the jutsu. And after a confrontation, the Rain Ninja charges forward at Sasuke and Sakura, and the episode ends. Right, so now this episode starts, and kind of in true Naruto form, it starts a little ways back at the point where Anko is yelling, "All right, heads up, you maggots, the second part of the test has begun." And it's like as the clock strikes 2:30. The gates open and the teams come rushing in, and the creepy grass ninja with the tongue yells to his squadlings, or her squadlings, their squadlings, "You know who we're looking for." To which one of his teammates responds, "Yes, those brats." In this moment, it shows us Squad 7 walking past the gate, and Naruto triumphantly exclaims, "All right, here we go, guys." And obviously, like, when they say, "We're here for those brats," and then it shows us Team 7 immediately thereafter, I think it's safe to assume that Team 7 are the brats in reference here, but it's an anime, they're habitually tricky, so I think that's the safest assumption. I don't think it's necessarily going to be true when it's all said and done. But if that's the way your brain is oriented currently, I don't think that you're necessarily in the wrong, right? You're doing good enough. It shows us Team Sand running through the forest, as well as Teams 8 and 10. Team 10 stops, and Kiba says, "Okay, first thing we gotta do is find it. You ready, Hinata?" Hinata confirms with a and it then shows us Team Guy making their way through the forest, where Neji calls out, "Take it easy, Lee, the test has only just begun." Lee responds, "That may be, but still, wherever our enemies are, I want to find them before they find us." I love this because we're still early on. We don't know these guys super well, but so far you can tell that Lee is like super hot-blooded and is like ready to whoop some ass all the time, and like wants to be the guy delivering the first punch. And Neji's kind of his antithesis, right? He's very calculated and takes his time, and Tintin kind of holds them together, right? In quite the same way as Sakura kind of holds them together on Squad 7. It then takes us to Team Sound, where Dosu is saying to his squadlings, "We have only one target. Stay focused on it," while leading the team in formation. And so this kind of indicates, right, that Team Sound may have some intentions outside of simple participation in the Chunin exam. Seems like they have goals outside of that. At this point, it shows us Anko standing at the main entrance to the Forest of Death, where she hears the terrified screams of the Genin, and it gives her a smile. She then thinks aloud, "Sounds like the fun has begun." It takes us back into the forest, where Team 7's attention has collectively been caught by the sound of a nearby scream, and they all turn in the direction of it. Sakura remarks, "That sounded like someone screaming. I don't like this place." Naruto throws his hands behind his head and exclaims, "Oh, come on, there's nothing to be scared of. It's going to be a piece of cake." His expression suddenly changes and says, "Excuse me, a second, I really gotta, And he just turns around to take a piss. Sakura isn't having any of this and yells, "Are you kidding me?" And she punches him on top of the head and gives him this big, huge knot. She then continues, "Get out of here. What is this? A kennel? Not in front of me, you don't. Go find a bush or something." And in this moment, the title slide comes in, and Naruto reads, "Eat or be eaten. Panic in the forest." It then takes us back to the scene with Team 7 when Naruto comes back from going pee. Naruto then announces as he emerges from the bushes, "Man, that was a lot. I wrote my whole name." And as he says this, Sasuke's gaze like narrows in on him, right? Like tell Sasuke's like onto something. Sakura raises her fist in frustration and says, "You're such a pig. You really are disgusting sometimes. You know that?" Suddenly, Sasuke punches Naruto in the face, sending him flying into a tree. Sakura pleads to Sasuke, "Hey, it wasn't that bad. Don't you think that was going a little overboard?" And as Naruto dusts himself off, he demands, "Yeah, what the heck was that all about?" And Sasuke responds, "Okay, where's the real Naruto?" And Naruto remarks, "Better watch out, Sakura. I think he's gone crazy." Sasuke stays firm and says, "Yeah, right. Then what happened to the scratch you got from the examiner? And I noticed you've got your shuriken holster on your left leg. Naruto's right-handed. Your transformation skills are worse than Naruto's. Tell me who you are." And, I gotta give it to Sasuke here because I wouldn't have caught this. I mean, obviously, like, the scratch, we're watching TV, that can get past. But, like, the shuriken holster being on the other leg, that definitely flew under my radar. And so Sasuke, man, shout out to Sasuke. He's a clever one. If you're going to try and pull a slick one on Sasuke, you really need to have your like I's dotted and your T's crossed, evidently. But Naruto, or at least whoever's pretending to be Naruto, remarks, "So you got me. I'm still going to get your scroll." And he then disappears in a plume of smoke. When the smoke clears, it's revealed a hidden rain Genin had taken the place of Naruto. He comes rushing Sasuke and Sakura and demands, "Which one of you has it, or I have to take both of you out." Sasuke leaps in the air and quickly casts several hand signs and casts his fire-style Phoenix Flower Jutsu, which, he like puts his hand up to his mouth like they do with their fire styles and like blows through his hand and sends several fireballs hurling towards the rain Genin in rapid succession. The hidden rain Genin dodges and leaps and meets Sasuke midair. Their kunai clash and they separate, and in this moment, a tied-up Naruto spots Sasuke and yells for him from below, "Hey, Sasuke, get me out of here." Sasuke thinks, "What an idiot." But he throws a single kunai, which cuts the rope that was restraining Naruto, and Naruto yells, "Thank you" to Sasuke. So here we have Sasuke saving the day yet again, right? This is a common theme. Naruto's a dork. He's always getting himself into trouble. Sasuke is serious, and he's always having to pull Naruto out of that shit. And here we are, Naruto having to take a piss off in the bushes, getting himself into shit, and Sasuke's having to save the day. And he can do so nonchalantly that he can throw a single shuriken and it just perfectly nip the rope in one spot so that it can unfurl and allow for Naruto to get out. He's just too fucking cool for school. Sasuke is always too damn cool. At this point, the hidden rain Genin yells, "Ha! Better keep your mind on the game," as he throws several thrown ninja weapons at Sasuke. They're not quite shuriken, they're not quite kunai, they're not butcher knives, but they're steak knives or something, man. You got knives, they have handles on them. You can stick them between his fingers and throw several with both hands. There's a whole bunch of sharp blades coming at Sasuke. Sasuke dodges the attack by getting behind the tree limb that he had been standing on. This works effectively enough, but as he peeks under the limb, he can see that one of the weapons has a paper bomb stuck to it. And he even yells out loud, "A paper bomb," just as it explodes. This explosion sends Sasuke falling to the forest floor. He catches himself, but before he can regain his footing and stand up, the hidden rain ninja appears behind him with his kunai drawn. The Hidden Rain Ninja then exclaims, "Sorry, this is one test you fail. Now hand over the scroll or you die." Sakura sees this and calls out for Sasuke. This catches the attention of the Hidden Rain Ninja, and Sasuke cracks a smile and lets out a small chuckle, which again catches the attention of the Hidden Rain Ninja. And suddenly a kunai comes flying in from the side that the Hidden Rain Ninja has to dodge, and this effectively frees Sasuke. At this point, Naruto comes leaping in from the direction that the kunai had been thrown from, revealing that Naruto was the one who threw the kunai. When he lands, he demands, "Oh no you don't." Sasuke thinks, well, better late than never, I guess. Sasuke then does something really neat that we haven't seen to this point. He suspends a kunai in place under his foot with chakra, right? Like imagine he picked a leg up and stuck a kunai to the bottom of his shoe, right? But there's 6 inches between the bottom of his shoe and the kunai, and it's being held there by chakra. And as he does this, he releases his Sharingan. He thinks, "Focus my chakra." And he then wheel kicks, and as he does this, he releases the kunai, sending it flying toward the Hidden Rain Ninja. The Hidden Rain Ninja has to dodge this midair, but Sasuke has already accounted for this, right? And he's coming to intercept him. Sasuke tackles him midair, and in so doing, stabs the Hidden Rain Ninja in the chest with a kunai. Sakura yells, "Are you alright?" to Sasuke, to which Sasuke responds, "Don't just stand there. Chances are this guy's not alone. Watch out. The others could strike any second now." And Sakura's whole version of helping in this whole thing has just been yelling. "Hey, you alright?" I mean, but I'm not one of the people who says that Sakura is totally useless, but damn, even Sasuke is "Don't just stand there," So, what can you say? Sasuke said it, not me. Sasuke and the Hidden Rain Ninja separate, and the Hidden Rain Ninja yells, "I wish I came alone as to not arouse suspicion. Big mistake." He then makes an absolute break for it and disappears into the forest. Sasuke thinks, so much for him for now. And, that might be a lie, right? There might be, 2 more guys in the corner who are literally waiting to leap out on Sasuke as soon as Sasuke puts his guard down because this guy just ran off, right? But it's, the music kind of slows down. Sasuke seems to believe it. And at this point, it takes us to Team 7, and they're sitting around Indian style. Sasuke says, "That proves that we can't just trust appearances. We have to come up with a way of knowing that each of us is who we say we are and not some imposter using a transformation jutsu." Naruto confirms this with a and Sakura chimes in, "All right, so what do we do?" Sasuke proclaims, "We need a password." Naruto asks, "What kind of password?" And Sasuke responds, "A secret one." Well, no shit. No shit. The password needs to be a secret, bruh. But Sasuke responds, "A secret one. Something known only to the 3 of us. And don't trust anyone who doesn't know it, no matter what. Okay, listen closely, because I only want to say this once. The question will be, when does a ninja strike?" And the response is, "A ninja waits until the time is right. When the enemy sleeps and drops his guard. When his weapons lie forgotten in the stillness of the night. That is the moment for a ninja to strike." Got it? Sakura responds, "I've got it." But of course, Naruto is like sweating bullets and he asks, "You got one a little shorter?" Sasuke responds, "No, Naruto, that's it." Sakura chimes in, "Ugh, what's wrong? Didn't you get it? I memorized it easy." Well, goddamn, billboard brow, your brain's so big that your forehead's extra big. Like she was one of the only people who was able to actually like just do the first part of the cheating exam. Like everybody else was supposed to cheat, and she just like did it. So come on, you can't be getting on to Naruto whenever he's not as smart as you, right? But Naruto responds, "Yeah, well, sure. I got it, no problem. I just thought it was going to be a past word, not a past speech." Which is fair, right? Like, damn it, man. Not a whole past phrase. Sasuke stands saying, "All right then, I'll take the scroll." Naruto stands up and says, "Well, wait a minute, Sasuke," when suddenly something whooshes and like causes Naruto to wince and says, "Ah, what was that?" And like he gets a little scratch on the other side of his face. They all look in the direction of where Naruto believes whatever got him came from. And suddenly a huge gust of wind hits them, causing them all to have to brace themselves in order to stay upright. Sasuke yells out, "What is it now?" And it shows us the scene from above, and you can see the area of impact this wind gust thing has been huge. And it towers over the forest, and the trees in the forest are humongous. When the smoke clears, it's revealed to be the hidden grass Genin. The creepy one with the tongue is in the center, and they are holding their hands in like a particular hand sign, and so it seems as though they were the one who actually cast the jutsu for that big wind gust. The creepy team lead with the tongue then says, "All right, you two fan out into the woods and keep your eyes open. I'll handle this alone." It's revealed that the jutsu left a wake in the ground for like a super long distance, right? Like we're talking football field, several hundred meters. Off to the side of this wake is Sasuke hiding in a bush, when suddenly something catches Sasuke's attention, and he turns and it's Sakura, who immediately calls out for Sasuke and asks, "What was that?" as she heads towards him. Sasuke draws his kunai on her and tells her, "Stay there. First answer the question. When does a ninja strike?" Sakura stops and goes, "Oh, a ninja waits until the time is right. When the enemy sleeps and drops his guard. When his weapons are forgotten in the stillness of the night. That's the moment for a ninja to strike." Sasuke lowers his guard and says, "Good." When suddenly Naruto comes running up and says, "Hey, what's up? Are you guys okay?" Sakura at that point demands, "Stop. What's the password?" Naruto responds, "Oh, sure, no problem. A ninja waits till the time is right. When the enemy sleeps and drops his guard. When his weapons lie forgotten in the stillness of the night. That is the moment for a ninja to strike." And this causes Sakura to let out a big deep sigh of relief when Sasuke cracks a small grin and immediately throws a kunai at Naruto. Naruto dodges and lands on the ground, demanding, "What was that? You could have killed me." Sasuke readies himself and says, "Gotta hand it to you. You were quicker than the last one." Sakura demands, "What are you talking about? What was wrong with that? He just got the password right word for word." And Sasuke responds, "That's what's wrong." Sakura and Naruto both have a big "huh" moment. Sasuke then asks Sakura, "Do you really think Naruto could memorize all that and get it word for word? Not the Naruto I know. Not in a million years. You'd have a better chance teaching it to a hamster." And, I mean, Naruto's notoriously pig-headed. Sakura replies, "Oh, right, you've got a point." Sasuke then continues, "Besides, you saw the way this guy moved when he dodged my attack. That was definitely not a Naruto move. All right, come on out, whoever you are. Party's over." And, bro, Sasuke is too clever with it, man. Like, you are just never gonna pull one over on Sasuke. I was saying this earlier in the episode, man. Yeah, you better have your I's dotted and your T's crossed to the point that you can't have your I's dotted and your T's crossed too formally, right? Like, he saw through it because he copied it all too well. So, damn, on either end of the spectrum, you got to get it just right. Naruto then lets out a low laugh and licks his chops. And it's the weird tongue, right? It's gotta be the grass ninja. Naruto then remarks in a more feminine voice, "Aren't we the clever one?" He then disappears behind a plume of smoke, and when the smoke clears, it's revealed that it is, in fact, the weird tongue team leading grass ninja. They then remark, "Tell me, if your teammate is really that dim-witted, why would you come up with a password he'd never be able to remember?" Sasuke smiles and remarks, "You see, it wasn't meant for Naruto so much as it was meant for anybody who might happen to be nearby trying to eavesdrop on us. It was meant as a trap and you stumbled right into it." The grass ninja takes off their straw hat and remarks, "I'm impressed. You certainly haven't dropped your guard, have you?" This promises to be very entertaining. They then lick the edge of their straw hat with their long curvy tongue like a fucking creep, bro. This fucking grass ninja, bro, is just the grossest, bro. Yuck. And to my point, Sakura at this point thinks, "Ugh, she gives new meaning to the word creepy. And where is Naruto?" It's then revealed that Naruto was hit directly by the wind jutsu earlier and is actually at the very end of its area of impact where he got smashed into a big tree and he's like upside down, right? He's been clearly fucked up by this jutsu. He looks around and remarks, "Hey, I wonder where Sasuke and Sakura went. I wonder where they..." And suddenly something catches his attention. And it's revealed that there's a humongous gray snake. I mean, when I say humongous, we're talking like horror movie type of shit. Like a mega python. Like, we're talking 100-foot long mega snake swallows any normal person easily. And Naruto exclaims, "Whoa, that's one big snake." And the snake strikes at Naruto, but Naruto dodges. But the impact of the snake hitting the ground causes the ground to break, and it sends earth shrapnel and Naruto flying. Suddenly, Naruto finds himself getting wrapped up by the snake constrictor style, and he's exclaiming, "I can't move," when suddenly the snake eats Naruto, swallowing him whole. And this is like a crazy ass moment, right? Like, whenever I first saw it, it's like, holy shit, this snake just ate the main character. What the fuck? What are they going to do here? Naruto literally screams as he's moving through the snake's body. And as he's panicking and screaming, it cuts back to the scene that's transpiring between Sakura, Sasuke, and the leader of the Hidden Grass team, where the Hidden Grass ninja pulls out her scroll, remarking, "Ah, you'd love to get your hands on our Earth scroll, wouldn't you? It would go nicely with your Heaven scroll." They then hold the scroll out over their head and stick their tongue out all gross-like. and they then wrap their tongue around the scroll and swallow it whole on some absolutely disgusting shit. She then remarks, well, when this is all over, one of us will have both scrolls. And she then pulls her face down, exposing her eye, right? She pulls the bottom part of her eyelid and the top of her cheek. You know what I'm saying? Just exposing as much of her eyeball as she can. And it's revealed that she has a vertical slit pupil, much like how Naruto's eye goes whenever he's in the Nine Tails freak-out mode. This glare alone freezes both Sasuke and Sakura where they stand. And they are both confronted with visions of their own bloody deaths that are about to be dealt to them by the Grass Ninja. Both of them taking thrown kunai to the foreheads. You couldn't miss Sakura's forehead, but come on. I had to throw that jab in there. Anytime there's a good billboard brow joke opportunity, I'm gonna probably go ahead and take that. As soon as the kunai hit their foreheads, they snap out of it. Both of them are shaken, having been confronted with their own deaths, and Sasuke thinks, is this an illusion? He then falls forward and retches. He then falls backward onto his butt and thinks, trembling, no, it's more than that. Her thirst for blood is almost palpable. Looking into her eyes, I saw the moment of my own death. Who is she? What is she? He then turns and thinks to look at Sakura for help, but he sees that she is trembling and crying profusely, causing him to think it's no use. She's got it worse than me. We've got to get out of here. Get away from her. She's death. And this is some wild shit. I don't know if it's a genjutsu, or what's happening, but this one ninja has Sasuke so shook that all he can think is, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And Sakura is so shook that she is just crying her eyes out, can't even think to do anything but cry. And they're in a real life situation right now. But at this point, it takes us back to the giant snake that ate Naruto, and it's slithering through the trees. And you can hear Naruto yelling from inside the snake, "Let me out of here! I'll make you sorry you ever swallowed me, you stinking snake." He then frantically stabs at the inside of the snake with his kunai to little to no effect, while yelling, "Let me out!" Suddenly, Naruto stops and thinks aloud, wait a second. He then reaches into his pouch and says, "Here, wouldn't you rather have this?" as he pulls out a big ball of rice from his satchel. He then looks at the rice ball and says, "I was saving this rice ball for lunch." He then drops the rice ball further down the snake's gullet and it immediately dissolves into nothing. Naruto, seeing this, gasps and exclaims, "Gah, it's already gone, and I'll be digested just like that in another minute. Ah!" And the snake's belly contracts and forces Naruto further down into the snake, and he yells, "No, let me out! Sakura, Sasuke, get me out of here!" And the scene transitions away, but guys, how stupid is Naruto? This fool thought that somehow, you realize the snake was gonna eat that rice no matter what. He was already eating you. You really think that, pulling out that rice was gonna somehow, satisfy this snake's hunger and he was gonna, throw you up? What the fuck was the plan there? What was he thinking? why did he pull that rice out and throw it down that snake's gullet? Like, what type of dumbass desperation shit was that? But either way, I'm not gonna sit here and just harp on our boy because he's gonna be the greatest Hokage ever, man. He's the subject of the whole deal. He's my boy, so that's just, I gotta point it out, right? Like, how he threw a rice ball down a giant snake's stomach while he was being eaten by the snake and was like shocked when it didn't slow the snake down. What the fuck? But the scene transitions back to the scene that's unfolding between Sakura, Sasuke, and the leader of the ninja, of the hidden grass team, where the grass ninja lets out a big laugh and offers, "You're paralyzed with fear." Sasuke, fighting these effects, thinks, "What's wrong with me? Move. Come on, Sasuke, move." He then looks down and he's able to slowly reach for his kunai holster on his leg. As he does this, he thinks, "That's it. You can do this. Yes. Yes." He then shakily pulls the kunai out of his holster. Sasuke then slowly fights his way to his feet, trembling, thinking the whole time, "That's right, even if it's just a little, you've got to move." This gives cause for the grass ninja to smirk and remark, "Very good. Now what happens?" And this paralyzes Sasuke all over again, right? And it causes him to think, it's no use. I can't move. The grass ninja begins like slowly, ominously walking towards Sasuke and Sakura, pulling two kunai out while saying, "Don't worry, I'll make it quick, but I don't have to tell you that, do I? You've seen it with your own eyes." Sasuke and Sakura continue to stay paralyzed as the grass ninja stops and readies herself to throw the kunai. She then laughs and offers, "I expected you to be more of a challenge. How disappointing." And then throws the kunai at them both. We see the kunai closing in via the reflection in Sasuke's eye, when suddenly blood splatters and we're taken to the scene transpiring with Naruto getting digested by the giant snake. Naruto is actively getting crushed by the insides of the snake, where he thinks, "I can't believe it. Is this really how it ends?" He then has a flashback to what matters, and he thinks, "Iruka Sensei, Old Man Hokage, Konohamaru, Kakashi Sensei, oh, Sakura." And like, as he's saying all these things, he's having like flashbacks of these people. He then has a big flashback of Sasuke and thinks, "Well, some people I'll miss more than others. I don't know what Sasuke's problem was. He was always jealous of me. Still, we had our moments. Like the time we helped Kakashi Sensei take down that creep Zabuza. In a way, we were probably good for each other. Always competing, pushing each other on every challenge, always looking for that final showdown to prove which one of us is best. Hey, wait a minute. That's right. We never did have our final showdown. We never proved who was best. No way. I can't just leave things up in the air like that. That's it. I'm out of here, whether Slitherputh likes it or not." Naruto cracks a smile, and we transition back to the scene between Sakura, Sasuke, and the grass ninja. But like, evidently Naruto has an idea. The grass ninja is standing alone over a splatter of blood on the ground. It's then revealed that the two kunai she threw earlier have landed in a tree behind where Sasuke and Sakura were standing, right? So she missed, and they're out of there. The grass ninja lowers her gaze and says aloud, "So that's how it is." A loud bird can be heard frantically screeching from somewhere in the dark forest, and the scene transitions to Sasuke and Sakura, who are sitting off to the side alone. Right, they've made it to like a presumably safe enough position for them to stop and catch their breath. it's revealed that Sasuke has stabbed himself in the thigh. Sakura sees this and says, "Oh, Sasuke," and gasps. It takes us back to the grass ninja who's standing over the blood splatter looking at it thinking, a desperate move, but a clever one. We then flash back to when she was throwing the kunai at Sakura and Sasuke. As the kunai approach Sasuke, he thinks, "Move, Sasuke, you've got to move." He then yells aloud, "Move," as he stabs himself in the thigh. This causes the grass ninja to have a slight expression of shock come over her face. Sasuke then utilizes his Sharingan and leaps to grab Sakura and avoids the attack and makes a break into the forest with Sakura in tow. The grass ninja then thinks, he overcame the fear with pain, so this prey is not so helpless after all. We transition back to the giant snake that ate Naruto laying along the forest floor, where we can hear Naruto yell from inside the snake, "Shadow Clone Jutsu." And Naruto then produces so many clones that they make the snake explode from the inside, right? He bursts the snake with Naruto's, which is a super cool way to get out of a snake. All the Narutos land and they start to patch themselves up. And that's whenever Naruto yells, "Sorry, but you picked the wrong shinobi. I'm going to be Hokage one day. If you think I'm going to wind up a pile of snake waste in the forest, you're crazy." We then transition back to Sakura and Sasuke, where Sasuke abruptly pulls the kunai out of his leg, causing blood to go splattering. And this whole thing with Sasuke using pain to overcome the fear and having to stab himself is such a dope parallel with what Naruto had to do to himself during the Zabuza arc, the Land of Waves arc. I think it's really neat, right, that these guys are experiencing this growth in these kind of similar ways. Sasuke at this point, he pulls the kunai out of his leg and it sends the blood splattering and he drops the kunai. And Sakura demands, "That wound is deep, will you be alright?" And just as she says this, Sasuke covers her mouth with his hand and shushes her. He then peeks around the tree and thinks, "Gotta move, gotta get away from her. But how? Where?" Sakura, seeing the panic in Sasuke, thinks, "Man, I've never seen Sasuke like this. He's got me scared." When suddenly a shadow envelops them both. Sakura sees it and it's a giant snake, much like the one that got Naruto, and begins to panic, but Sasuke remains unaware because he's so concerned with this hidden grass ninja. Sakura frantically fights Sasuke's hand off of her mouth and yells, "Sasuke, look out." Sasuke turns and sees the snake just in time to dodge its strike. As Sasuke flies through the air, he says aloud, "Bah, unbelievable. I didn't even notice. I'm losing it." Sakura lands on a nearby limb and sees the giant snake slithering up a tree, wrapping around the entire tree. The snake then strikes at Sasuke while he's still midair, and behind the snake, you can see a void of silhouette of the grass ninja, behind the snake, right? Sasuke yells, "Nya, stay away," right? And he throws several kunai and shuriken, just general ninja weapons, in the direction of the snake, and they all land, right? And the snake shrieks in pain and lands dead among the trees. Sasuke lands in the limbs of a nearby tree and tries to catch his breath, when suddenly he is shocked by the sight of the grass ninja emerging out of the dead snake's side. And so evidently this grass ninja is the one in control of these snakes, or is these snakes, or something, right? But like at the bottom line is that this person can emerge out of these snakes, right? As she emerges, she says, "I sense your fear and desperation. It's only natural the prey just never lets their guard down, not even for a moment in the presence of its predator." She then laughs menacingly and flaunts her gross tongue about, all gross style, right? Like just hella gross with this tongue. She then makes a break for Sasuke, and her body becomes long and elastic and is like slithering around the tree, just like the snake did that she had just emerged out of. As she heads for Sasuke, he shrieks in terror when suddenly several shuriken land in front of the grass ninja on the tree limb, causing her to stop. Everyone looks in the direction of where the shuriken were thrown from, where they spot Naruto, who's triumphantly standing among the tree limbs and announces as the beat drops, "Looks like I made it just in time." Sakura excitedly calls out for Naruto, and Naruto then announces, "Oh, and by the way, what was that password again?" And the episode ends, right? And I love that they hit us with that fun little joke. Like, obviously, Naruto's a meathead. It's funny that he doesn't remember the password. It also validates Sasuke's whole plan. And so it's like a really neat way to end the episode. It's very climactic. I'm like amped up for the next episode because I don't know what's about to happen. And so it's got like comedy and climax and like all the things that I want out of a good episode of anime. My final thoughts on it are that, man, Sasuke is a goon, like an absolute goon for sending the hidden rain Genin packing and seeing through their flawed transformation. He's also just super, super clever for laying the trap with the password that the hidden grass ninja stumbled into, right? He would have known if Naruto was like, it's something to the effect of you wait till they're sleeping, right? He would have known that was Naruto. Shit would have been cool. But whenever that person walked up and literally said it word for word, that's not Naruto's style. Sasuke knew what he was doing there, which is dope. The leader of the Hidden Grass Ninja Squad is OP. Like, way too overpowered. What the fuck is going on? The blast that they did with the wind style jutsu that sent Naruto flying and that separated the team initially had like a humongous area of impact. It was like literally humongous. It was like several hundred feet tall, and like the gouge in the ground that it created that was directed directly at Naruto was like several football fields long. Like, this is like big boy jutsu shit, not something you'd expect to see from a Genin, She also seems to have some type of command over these giant snakes. She definitely, at the bare minimum, emerged out of one that Sasuke killed. She also has that like vertical slit pupil that gave him like the death stare. Like, I guess we call it like the hidden grass ninja gave Sasuke and Sakura a death stare, which caused them to be paralyzed by fear. Is that a jutsu? Sasuke seemed to be pretty convinced it wasn't a genjutsu. So what's happening here? And beyond that, they have vertical slit pupils in their eyeballs like Naruto does whenever he's in his Nine Tails mode. And so I'm curious to see what the significance of this character is. It's obvious now that they are not like a normal character. They're single-handedly taking out the entire squad, right? One Winjutsu sent Naruto flying. One fucking evil stare debilitated both Sasuke and Sakura, right? Vertical slit eyelid, eyeball, very much like what Naruto has going on. Like, several indicators here can indicate that this person, who still remains unnamed, is like special, right? So keep an eye on this character, right? Like, this is someone to definitely keep an eye on. Sasuke is a goon again. I mean, I hate to just fawn over Sasuke because I'm a Naruto dork, but Sasuke is a goon for stabbing himself and using pain to overcome the fear paralysis. It again reminds me of how Naruto did during the Zabuza arc. I love it, right? The parallels are super fun. I can't believe that Naruto got eaten by a snake, right? Like, the first time you see that, you're like, what in the hell just happened, right? It's so crazy. But Naruto finds a way out, right? And it's really neat the way he gets the way out by using the shadow clones to overstuff the snake to the point that it causes it to burst. Right, that's cool as hell. Right, that's like OG Naruto. We're gonna bust out 1,000 shadow clones and see how this situation can handle it. Also, Naruto's a real cool guy for stopping the Hidden Rain ninja and not Hidden Rain, the Hidden Grass ninja, and effectively saving the day there at the end, or at least for making a triumphant entrance. Right. The questions I would have moving forward are like, how are they going to handle this ninja, right? And even if they do start to handle her effectively, she has two teammates who would, assumedly be at least, people who ought to be on a team with someone who's that talented, right? They're going to be really, really talented shinobi as well. And so we're going to see how it all transpires, right? But it's not looking too good for Squad 7 right now because they ain't even got Kakashi to help right now. How powerful are the teammates of the Hidden Rain ninja? I'd be real curious to see how strong they are. Will they get involved at all? And will any other teams happen across this insanity out there in the world? But with that, I feel like I can pretty effectively put a bow on this episode. Obviously, if I missed anything, let me know. Hop in the comments, say something somewhere, right? Participate. Let's create a little community. Please be friendly. We're not trying to have any ugliness. And with that, I appreciate everybody so much for being my Konoha companions. I'm Joshua, and I'm your Konoha companion, and I'm really looking forward to covering the next episode of Naruto with y'all. Thanks so much for listening. Peace.